Hello and welcome back to Read Becca. Let's talk about one of my BooktubePrize books. This is 3 O'Clock in the Morning by Gianrico Carofiglio and translated from Italian by Howard Curtis. I read this for the octafinals of the BooktubePrize. And if you're seeing this, it's probably been a couple months because I read this in February. So 3 O'Clock in the Morning is a very slim little novel. It is following mainly a moment in time between a father and son. Now, it starts with Antonio, this young boy who is having these episodes and almost hallucinations that turn out to be epilepsy. And he is having shame and alienation as a result of that for some reason that I don't really understand, but I'm assuming it was a product of the time that he was in the 1980s, where this is set, that there was some shame associated with epilepsy, and so they were hiding the fact that he had it. But he has all these restrictions as a result, based on the treatment he's granted, that he can't play with the other kids, he can't eat certain things, so he's under a sort of strict regime, and he feels very separate from others because of it. So eventually his parents realize maybe we should talk to a specialist about this and get a second opinion, because his quality of life is kind of being degraded by this. And so they go to Marseille, from Italy to Marseille, to see this specialist. And the specialist tells him, yeah, this is very manageable. This is almost a non-issue. And so he's able to have a fairly normal life then. And in fact is told this may be a childhood ailment that is going to get better as you age out. So time passes. And this is, again, over a very, very short window at the beginning of the book. And 3 years later, they are returning to Marseille, the boy, Antonio, and his father, to see this specialist again, to see if he's actually cured. So most of the novel is following this period where they get to the specialist, and the specialist tells him, yeah, it looks like you probably are cured, but you're going to need to stay here and stay awake for 72 hours. So they remain in Marseille. They kind of unexpectedly have to cancel all their plans and cancel their return travel to stay there, and have to remain awake for the 72 hours. So the father agrees to do it and not sleep, and is going to hang out with his son, basically. So they have this unexpected time together, where they don't have any plans, and so they're just kind of following their whims in this city. And Marseille is talked about a lot like Chicago today, where people kind of incorrectly, I would say, claim that it's extremely crime-ridden, and it's like, don't go outside, basically. But they actually find it to be very different from that. They do run into indirectly some of the crime elements, but they also find art and music and great food. They go to bars. They wind up meeting people on the beach. So they have all these interactions, but really what it's about is about their relationship changing as a result of this couple days of just doing what they want together and completely opening up to each other. So there's a moment of shift between them, I think, and it's really the first raw moment between the father and son, where the father is admitting that as an adult, he has sort of lost himself to obligation and responsibility, and hasn't or can't remember the last time he has had enjoyment in his life and has really indulged in the things he enjoys. So I think that is the moment of change, where this is a shift between a parent and child becoming two peers and having conversations as peers. So that's what happens over the course of this 3 days. I think they wind up being excessively raw at times with each other, to a point it didn't really make sense for me, where they're talking through things through discomfort. We get the internal perspective from Antonio, who actually does at a moment think, why am I still talking about this openly? I'm very uncomfortable saying this to my dad, basically. So they do talk about these really weighty topics together, and they go to a porn store at one point. They go to a bar and have drinks together. They meet some people on the beach and wind up just following those people to a party, and really engaging with living their life in the moment. And that, I think, is what's the heart of this novel. I think I liked the ideas and certain individual moments of this book more than I liked it as a whole story. It felt a little clinical to me, or detached at moments. Even when they're having these deep conversations, I just didn't feel a connection to the characters. And it's mentioned in the translator's notes at the back that this author really has a focus on language and an economy of words and being very edited. So I think that's probably why, but I've read and connected very much with minimalist authors before, and I just did not feel that there. I didn't feel the strong emotional connection to these characters at all, even though they are having such deep conversations. I don't think you can really spoil this, but I will throw a spoiler warning down below for sure. I really strongly didn't like how this ended. I think that I won't mention what exactly happens at the end, but toward the end, I did like that the father kind of has this realization as they're wrapping up this trip. They've finished their 72 hours, they're getting ready to go home, and he has understood that he can put aside some of the responsibilities that he has and do things he enjoys more. But then in reality, when we get into the ending, things have just gone back to normal, it's clear. So it sounds like their relationship didn't continue on. They just went back to normal, to the way they had operated as father and son before, and not very well connected. So this meaningful moment in their lives of this extreme connection didn't actually change anything between them. So that was really disappointing. There is a bigger discussion over relationship and time, and how we don't engage with people in the closeness that we could, because we are constantly thinking we have more time. I think it was very interesting to hear at the very end that the author actually is a former senator of the parliament and lawyer, and it writes crime novels, like legal thrillers. And I think I would be much more interested in those, honestly, than this. The writing style, I think, would be a little more suited to that. So I may pick up another book from this author if they're translated into English, but this one was very middle of the road for me. I felt okay about it. As I said, it had moments that were really profound and really meaningful. It did give me a lot to think about in terms of this shift in relationship between a father and son, but I felt like by the end it kind of had undercut what it was doing. So that is it for me today on 3 o'clock in the morning by Gianrico Carofiglio. Thank you so much for watching.